Here we are at Amy Schrift's house. Amy's someone that many of you, if you come here, will be visiting and meeting with her. She's our neighbor here in San Salvador, here in Costa Rica, and a very good friend of ours. And her story is quite amazing, and many of our guests come here for it's a very powerful and transformational talk that she gives.
Just a piece of land that I feel that I have the honor of co-creating with right now. Like, I don't really feel it's mine. We say that we own land, but I know and I feel that I don't own anything, that I'm just passing through. So what this really is has been an incredible honor to be here, and nature is just so gentle, in her way of teaching lessons. You do something wrong, you plant something, and it doesn't work out, and the plant just gracefully dies, and that's your message. There's no blame, there's no judgment, there's no guilt, there's no shame. So I've come to a place, like, for me, that is really harmonious and nonviolent. The communication that's happening here, which is mostly in silence. I did come here alone, by the way, and I've lived here for 5 years by myself, and that was the intention. I didn't really come with intentional community ideas. I really wanted to take the lessons from the trees and the plants and nature and just be completely vulnerable and exposed here with the land. And most of the time I'm often natural, and so I get a lot more information that way through my feet and the wind and the sun and how it hits my back. And so I feel connected, and I feel that the plants want to tell us and teach us things. So it's been really an incredible journey. No cars enter this farm, and I made a decision early on not to get one. Figured everyone else has one, so I don't want to, have 2,000 pounds of metal, and high energy. Sorry, I didn't mean to look.
It's probably 3,000 pounds of metal.
3,000. So I want to have a light footprint, and I figure I'd rather support a local or someone else with the car, give them gas money, and I've been working on a communal transport system here, so that not all of us have to purchase cars. So all of that's been liberation for me, and I'll show you more, because I'm really living without a lot of the modern conveniences that you might think are necessities, but it's been liberation for me not to have them. So I've gotten so used to this silence here that when I'm anywhere else, I really notice, what I call sonic pollution. I'm gotten sensitive in many ways, as far as the oxygen that's coming from this mountainside here that I'm breathing in night after night. That's brain food. That's, for me, air is number one. And as I live without walls here, by the way, this is my home. There's a shed behind us, and we'll show you that later, that has food, and which is mostly fruit and personal items. But I wanted to have a space like this that was just so, it may look empty, but it's full. It's allowing space for so many other things to come in. So without clutter, few possessions. And I just wanted to get here and get up something that was natural, made of the elements of the earth that I'm made of, so that I'm constantly connecting, whether I'm touching stone or wood or grass or dirt. There's no cement, there's no metal. There is some metal, there's no glass on the farm. Those are all things I feel that create disconnect. So most of the time I'm outdoors, I'm out and about, and there's a yoga table out here. I start my days here with meditation, yoga, and some qigong, 5 rites. It's just a mix of things that I've developed over time. It's very personal. It's not something I would say, okay, come, I'll work out or whatever, do our movements. I feel like once, our bodies, we're all so unique. We're all in our own little universe here, creating worlds, creating universes here, and the movements that we need to keep us flowing and lubricated, so to speak, are unique. So I love eating one thing at a time, because I just enjoy the experience of the texture and taste. It's so much more than just getting food into my body. And I'm at a point where I'm not into fiber. I spit out pretty much anything I can. So I'm into getting the nectar, the essence of the food. I'm almost everything I'm spitting. If it's greens, I chew them. I'm basically juicing them. So I have no machines here. This is my juicer right here. I'd rather take the time and have the right amount of saliva and work those greens if I'm feeling that, but then spit out the fiber. I feel very satiated, and sometimes I'm amazed. Sometimes I feel like, God, I haven't eaten very much today. I feel like, in a way, the less you eat, the less you need to. It's almost habitual. Our body does adapt. I haven't hung out with anyone for days who's not really eating, but I feel yes, I feel it's possible. It's just that it's very subtle. They say on a conscious level you have to be in touch with all the cells in your body and actually reprogram them that I'm now accepting food on a higher vibrational level. I'm getting prana. I'm getting energy through the air. You know, if you do a practice of qigong or something, which is slow energy and motion. I mean, slow motion. It's slow motion with breath. Very, very powerful, and I think you can harness and bring energy, but also it's food in a way. You start to tingle and spin, and I think it's definitely possible. I was starting to read her stuff, and I think it was last year, a year and a half ago. For 3 months, I ate 1 meal a day, just at noon. I was feeling, I was really getting into her teachings. I thought maybe I can do this, but what happened was my body shrunk. And I got very thin. My ribs were showing. People started saying, God, your legs, you got like toothpick. I don't know, whatever happened. My spirit was soaring. I was flying. I felt so great not thinking about food and moving into other realms. I was dancing at night. I wasn't eating, so it was just that 1 meal at noon. And then by 5 or 6, before I went to bed, I was like dancing, and I felt so light and, all over the place. However, I realize that I'm not ready for that. If it's in my path, I'd be willing to go there. But you know what? The food right now, my connection with the earth is through a lot of this fresh, living food that I'm eating. I'm receiving a lot of pleasure. What about the food that's under the sky for 3 or 4 months every night and getting universal planetary galactic information by being outside every night? Why isn't that factored into nutrition? Information that we need. This food is very powerful. That's living. And when I started to think about this and read the books of Anastasia, you've heard of her, I hope, all by now. Okay, very much connected with this woman who's alone and living supposedly, in the Siberian forest out there. And here I am, and I'm sleeping under the stars. And I immediately, when I started reading those books, and I was here, and they tell you to please read it in a natural setting. I was every night, my heart, I was thinking about this woman, and until I got through, those 9 books, and all that information started to settle in. But I realized that this is really the only food. I'm at a place now where I don't think I can put anything else in. I mean, I'm only eating things from plants or trees, and that's fine. I am so satiated. Like the food, yeah, that's all part of this experience. The raw food just seems to go with not having a fridge and not having a stove. I have no. I'm going to say no's. You're going to hear no's, but they're not no's. Okay, they're really. I always say they're yeses, because whatever I'm saying I don't have is allowing for just liberation, for creative problem solving and finding other ways. So I don't have a fridge, and I don't have a stove, and I don't have a shower, and I don't have a toilet, I don't have furniture, I have no chemicals, I don't use soap or shampoo or toothpaste. I feel like I'm made of what the earth is made of, and the only thing I really need to cleanse is water. Everyone else, that is the universal, liquid here, and it's in the fruit. It's loaded in the food I eat. I don't drink water. I feel it's more for bathing and cleansing. I'm not interested in drinking water. I'm not thirsty. So I'm just surrounded by this incredible, unconditional love here. I'm feeling it all the time. I feel at peace, and I'm also, I was saying some of the things that I don't have. I'm recycling my own human manure. So I'm completing the food cycle by, no septic tanks or anything here. It's a chance for me to observe what comes out of my body, And if you're not taking that opportunity, there's a lot of information what's coming out of you. Now, if it's going in a toilet and you're flushing it before flushing it away to ultimately to the ocean, we need to take some responsibility for that. How does that feel? I have trouble even flushing a toilet at this point, because I know that was incredible food for microorganisms that I just send to the ocean, where it isn't food. It becomes wasteful and polluting. So we've got things going on that we're unconsciously following patterns of living, what we call civilized living, that really is pretty brutal and not at all. No, the other thing, I have no lights, no light bulbs. I do have one outlet. That outlet is to charge this cell phone, and I do have a laptop because I'm doing some writing and things like that. But I'm very disciplined about the use of it. So at night, I don't use any lights. Now, what that happens when you don't use lights is you're taking away a form of artificial stimulation that we've become very accustomed to. What happens for me is I'm thinking around 3:30 or 4, I don't want to eat anymore. I'm feeling the natural cycles. Usually 3:30, 4, I'm done. The vision that I have here is to have a fruit forest. And what I will do is the tree that has the ripe fruit, when it's time to eat, and I'm feeling hungry, I go to that tree, give thanks, eat fruit. If I can eliminate, even better. And I'd like to have no food in this shed, no storage. What I call hoarding in a way. The animals, the birds, they just eat what, I think there's a saying in the Bible about that, about the birds and eating, and something Jesus said. The birds, in all their glory, but they're every day, they know there'll be food for them the next day. Because they don't hoard or store food. So it's made me think differently, and other ways that I'm nourishing myself. I also feel we're obsessed with this hole right here. We think that we need to meet all our needs through this hole in our body right here. I mean, if you're naked and you've got billions of pores all over your body, now when the sun's out like this, if you guys weren't here right now, I would be flat out. Oh, there's a worker here. I couldn't do it. But if he wasn't here, I would be naked on that table just soaking the rays. I would stop everything I'm doing. Right now we're in rainy season and we have moments of sun and then it goes away, right? In the clouds. And if I had a family here, I'd say, everyone stop, rip off your clothes, go find your spot. Maybe everyone has their little table, and catch it. Get the rays, feed yourself. Feeding myself just by being barefoot. I'm getting minerals. I don't eat a lot of greens. If I didn't touch earth, I'd probably be craving for them more. And then people, by juicing, try to get a lot more in. But I'm around green and I touch it all day. What do I need to eat it for? I'm getting it in other ways. How do you prepare this vessel to receive these teachings? There's different ways to do it. I mean, purification of body is purification of mind. Your thoughts are going to elevate. If you're eating elevated, living, vibrating, super fresh food, to me, when I eat, for example, it's playtime. I'm playing. It is so joyful and blissful. Everything I'm eating is it's so non-harmful. It's just pure love, and it's so juicy and sweet, and it's a lot of fun. And so I was receiving teachings through the food. It depends how you want to get your teachings. Bathing in natural waters. I walked down to the river. I've walked completely naked, barefoot, to that house over there. Now, when you walk and you're so exposed, and you have to think about every step, you really change your pace of movement. Part of my work is to awaken others and raise consciousness a bit. Now, to do that, I need to be on a pretty, I feel like a pretty pure and clean path, so that I'm always keeping myself in a higher vibrating state, so that I can share these things. I feel good and vital and light and happy and joyful and blessed to be here. And every day when I wake up and I see this beauty and the light, the shining light and the glistening dewdrops, and it feels like the first day. I'm in such awe, of this place.